You ever watch 5 black SUVs hit the curb at the exact same second? Metal and pride, both getting shredded in one spectacular mess, while the person in charge pretends it's all perfectly normal. Yeah, that was my Tuesday. First SUV hits too hard. No guardrail, just fresh asphalt and a whole lot of wishful thinking. Second one, spinning sideways. Third plows into both, airbags popping off like fireworks at a county fair. You could smell the burnt rubber halfway down the block. By the time the fourth and fifth pile in, it's full chaos. Glass everywhere, horns blaring, phones out, half the neighborhood live streaming the wreck. And then, because of course, here comes the law. Officer strolls up, asks me if anybody saw what caused the mess. I point to the bare shoulder and say, "There were warning signs here this morning." Before he even responds, this woman in a red suit steps right into the spotlight. If you know HOA types, you know the type. Linda Carver, Juniper Ridge Board president, walks like she's got stock in the pavement, heels crunching through broken glass, not even blinking. She's not looking at the wreck. She's scanning for cameras. "This road was approved," she declares, loud enough for every phone to catch it. The HOA followed all procedures. I'd heard that line before, flat as an invoice. See, weeks back, she stood right here, said my warning signs were an eyesore. Too ugly, too alarming. Bad for property values, apparently. I tried to talk numbers, curve radius, fresh asphalt. No traction, but she just smiled and said, "We can't let fear slow progress." Progress that was her gospel. But today, Linda's not talking about property values. She's not asking if anyone's hurt, not looking at the skid marks. She's working the angles, thinking only about how to control the story. That's when it hits me. She didn't just yank my warning signs. She ripped out the last bit of sense standing between all these people and this mess. First time I tried to fix it, I kept it simple. Didn't call lawyers, didn't call City Hall. Just daylight, a post driver, reflective tape, and 2 store-bought warning signs. Sharp curve, reduced speed. Nothing dramatic. I planted them right where the pavement dips, shoulder drops away. Trouble waiting to happen. Added some orange barrier fencing for good measure. By noon, both directions could see them. By evening, traffic slowed down. It worked. Next morning, I roll up, signs gone, fencing stacked like leftover garbage. Hour later, an email from the HOA. Unauthorized installations have been removed. These materials negatively impact community aesthetics and may cause unnecessary alarm. Unnecessary alarm. That phrase stuck. Standing right there, I felt the edge of the road under my boots. No more warnings, just smooth blacktop daring folks to push the limit. At that point, I knew it wasn't just a disagreement. It was headed for a crash, literally. 2 days later, certified letter from the HOA lands on my counter. I'm now interfering with approved infrastructure. Fine set at $200 a day, retroactive, with a threat of a lien on my property if I don't comply. Linda's signature, sharp, clean, meant to intimidate. By that afternoon, she's out here in person with her inspection team, 3 board members with clipboards, walking the curve like they're documenting a crime scene. Linda stays back, sunglasses on, arms folded, watching me like I'm the problem. I ask for the safety report, traffic permits, anything to prove this road's legit. She just gives me the thin smile. The HOA has already approved it. One board guy snaps photos, carefully cropping out the worst bits. Another takes notes without looking up. Linda steps in. "Don't interfere. You're already on thin ice." That's when I realized they weren't inspecting the road. They were building a record against me, spinning the story before the wreck ever happened. Meanwhile, traffic's picking up. Each car taking that curve a little faster. Every pass another tick on a clock I can hear, but they won't acknowledge. So I drive down to the county traffic office, ask for the permits, safety evaluations, all that. Clerk frowns, types for ages, then says, "There's no traffic safety permit attached to this project." Nothing. No curve analysis, no friction testing, no approval for public use. On paper, the road's just a temporary connector, not supposed to see real traffic, especially not at speed. And wouldn't you know it, the Juniper Ridge Development Showcase is set for that same week. Press, investors, the whole dog and pony show. The old route ran through land the HOA didn't even own. So opening this curve? Not a mistake. A shortcut. Sharp, fast, reckless. Linda's progress wasn't just ambition. It was a gamble. By then, I stopped trying to argue. Started hiring professionals, independent traffic engineer, the kind who tells it straight. He walks the curve, boots scuffing the edge where the ground falls away. This road isn't safe for live traffic, he says deadpan. Too tight for posted speed, fresh asphalt too slick, shoulder not compacted. One wrong move, you're gone. He puts it all in writing. I send his report to the city that afternoon. Less than a day later, the city issues a halt recommendation, pending review. Linda ignores it. Next morning, I watch from across the road as HOA staff run SUVs through the curve anyway. Midday, cameras rolling, no signs, no barriers. I call the city, they log the violation. Linda calls me. You're overreacting. This road will be open. I hang up. At that point, there's nothing theoretical left. Risks are on paper, warnings issued, and they're still barreling toward disaster. Day before the event, I go back. Phone recording, just in case. 2 HOA trucks are there. One guy's pulling up my last warning sign, the one I bolted down myself. No rush, no shame, just board orders. I film the whole thing. Hour later, I get an email, meant for internal HOA eyes only, but I'm copied by accident. No time to fix the curve. We open as planned. So, barricades come down, staff smoothing out the shoulder like that'll fix physics. First SUV stages at the entrance, cameras ready. I know exactly where the traction will fail. When they roll out, I don't shout or wave. I just keep recording because what's coming can't be stopped now. It's inevitable. First SUV, smooth as you please, until the nose dips, tires slip, the whole thing slides wide. Driver's wrestling a wheel that won't answer. Second SUV, too close, clips the rear, spins sideways. Third smashes in, airbags popping. Fourth jumps the curb. Fifth plows into the mess. Shouts, sirens, everything stops. I'm on the shoulder, filming the skid marks, the missing signs, proof that this was no accident. It was a consequence. Linda's voice cuts through, sharp as ever, already hunting for someone to blame. But this time, it's all public. I step forward, don't shout, just show my phone to the nearest officer. Want to see what this road looked like this morning? He nods. I play the footage, signs in place, time-stamped, HOA trucks removing them, everything crystal clear. Reporter leans in, more cameras swing my way. I show the engineer's report. Road not safe, stamped and dated. Officer reads it jaw tight. Traffic engineers called over, says flat out, this curve does not meet safety standards. It shouldn't have been opened. Behind us, the wrecked SUVs hiss as they cool, blocking both directions. The story shifts right there, in front of everybody, from accident to negligence to something that won't get swept under a rug. Linda tries to hold her ground. Red suit scuff now, voice still firm. Unfortunate incident. We followed internal process. The HOA acted in good faith. But a reporter presses. Why'd you remove the signs after the engineer's report? Linda snaps. We couldn't delay the event. And that's when the air changes. Officer looks up, another starts writing, and just like that, the road is shut down. Official. Final. No more spin. Traffic's rerouted, cones and tape everywhere. The whole Juniper Ridge development sealed off like a crime scene. Linda's explanations fall apart. First, the signs weren't necessary. Then she didn't order them gone. Then she had no choice. Cameras move in. This isn't about a crash anymore. It's about decisions made in daylight and paid for in steel and glass. By now, her authority's slipping with every word. I don't say anything. Don't need to. The road's already spoken for me. Officers start rerouting cars, frustrated residents stepping out, demanding answers. Why was this opened? Didn't anyone check? Why ignore the warnings? Linda stands off to the side, phone glued to her ear, face pale. Board members huddle, avoiding residents. The mood in the neighborhood flips. Everyone suddenly realizes how fragile their security really is. For the first time, people aren't asking why I was worried. They're asking why the HOA didn't listen. A city official arrives, makes it official. Road closed indefinitely. Full investigation. HOA board under review. The threats of fines and liens? Gone. Now, Linda's the one facing questions. She's told she's suspended from all HOA decision-making, at least until the dust settles. The red suit doesn't look powerful now. It looks exposed. I watch from the same spot my warning signs used to stand. For weeks, they tried to bury the problem in paperwork. Now, the paperwork's coming for them. Last tow truck hauls off the wreckage, sun beating down, yellow tape flutters over fresh skid marks. No engines, no cameras, just the sound of a road, silent for the first time. I pick up one of my old warning signs, scratched and dirty, but clear enough, and drive it back into the ground, right where the road begins to lie. No one stops me. Board members keep quiet. Residents just watch. Officers wrap up their reports. Nobody argues about aesthetics. Nobody talks about progress. For once, the only thing that matters is the truth. Standing there, it hits me. All this, every bit of it, could have ended so much worse. If I'd let anger take over, block the road myself, force a showdown, maybe somebody gets hurt. Instead, I stayed in the lines. Documented, reported, waited for process to play out, even when it felt like nothing was happening. Turns out, evidence and patience outlast outrage every time. The real lesson? It's not dramatic, it's not heroic, but it works. Keep records, check the paperwork, bring in the pros when things feel off. Communities don't fall apart because of one bad call. They weaken when nobody's checking how power gets used. HOAs, boards, committees, they aren't the enemy by default. They only become dangerous when nobody's watching and shortcuts become routine. This curve didn't fail because of bad luck. It failed because warnings were ignored and nobody expected consequences. Now, the road's quiet. The sign's where it should have always been. And every time I drive past, I'm reminded stability isn't built by force or by ignoring the limits. It's built by listening early, respecting the process, and letting the law do its job. So, tell me, where do you draw the line between standing your ground and letting pride push things off the rails? Have you ever watched the people in charge gamble with everyone else's safety just look good? Drop your story, your take on justice, or the wildest HOA mess you've ever seen. Write down in the comments. I want to hear where you stand and what you'd have done if it were your road on the line.